Hi there, 8th grade. Today will be the first of your case assignments where you're going to be writing an opinion about one of the U.S. Supreme Court cases that relates to the First Amendment and also posting up some challenge questions uh, underneath this section in lieu of the do now and video assignment portion that we've been doing so far. Today's case is West Virginia v. Barnette. This case definitely ties into the Establishment Clause, but also into the Free Exercise Clause of the First Amendment. Quick overview on the case. On one side, you have the Barnette family, who are Jehovah's Witnesses. As part of their faith, they can't take an oath or a pledge to anything, a nation, or anything else. They feel is putting that item or thing above God, and therefore, for them, saying the Pledge of Allegiance is against their faith. During World War II, many states made it mandatory for students to say the pledge. If they didn't do it, students were punished. The Barnetts and other families sued the West Virginia State Board of Education, saying that requiring them to say the Pledge of Allegiance was a violation of the First Amendment rights. On one side, you have West Virginia. The state is saying a couple things. Number one, it's World War II. This is a struggle for our existence. It's a total war. Americans are fighting and dying in two different theaters in the Atlantic and the Pacific. In order to win this war, we need everyone to unify and stand together and support our soldiers who are fighting in two fronts. And in order to do that, to show that we're united, to unite the country stronger, having the Pledge of Allegiance is required at the start of a government function, like a school day, is a good way of doing that. They also argue since it is a time of war, that during times of emergency, the government can limit some rights. Aren't your rights a little bit limited right now in a time of emergency? So that this being a world war, a total war, that they have a right in order for the benefit of unity for the country to limit that right and make the flag salute mandatory. Lastly, they could also argue that this is a states' rights issue, that mandating educational practices isn't something that the federal government should be interfering with, and that the state has a right to determine that. The Barnett's arguments are the First Amendment is very clear. The government can't establish any religious belief, and the Pledge of Allegiance being established at a practice that's against our faith, you're kind of going against what we want, what we believe, what we want to freely exercise in our faith. And it's a gross violation of our right to freely exercise our religion. And part of one of our aspects of our faith is that we don't want to exercise um, this practice. You can't force us to do something that's against our religion, even though it's fine with yours. You're establishing your belief system over ours. That is not cool. Number two, they argue that, yeah, it is World War II, and we're fighting the Nazis who are persecuting Jehovah's Witnesses, who are sending them to concentration camps. Jehovah's Witnesses were among many different groups of people who were persecuted during the Holocaust for their beliefs. And you, we are a group of people who are being persecuted. You're telling us that we should, you know, participate in this war, but yet you are persecuting us. Um, there's another group of people who really are into mandating salutes, the Nazis. And one of the reasons why we were persecuted in Nazi Germany is because we would not go into any of their mandates of, worshiping the state and Hitler. So how much better are we than the Nazis if you're going to be persecuting us for our beliefs? Um, so there's both sides of the argument. Also, they can argue that no, that saying the pledge doesn't necessarily help unify or actually support the troops. It's an unnecessary infringement on rights. that students should have the choice whether or not to do it, that they're not harming anybody. So that's a little bit of a quick rundown of both sides to go along with the other sources that you have. Good luck in your work. Thanks.